Hello everybody and welcome to the Craig and Jane show.
And good evening everybody.
And we're going to be taking your questions tonight, so we want lots of interesting questions from you, because you know, if you get your questions in early, you can start to guide us in the direction of the talk. We like to keep it onto something kind of spiritual, something related to what we do.
So first of all, Craig, we're going to say hello to everybody. First of all, hello to Gary. Hi to both of you. I hope you're both well. Looking forward to today's show.
And I'm looking forward to all your questions, guys. And hi to both of you. It says again, hello from
Michigan.
Michigan, says Carla.
Vera, hi from Canada. Hi, Vera.
Let's have some interesting Canadian questions. Perhaps.
And there's our favourite Agility Bits.
Down there in sunny Cornwall, which
and
it is
sunny
today,
Winchester
folks.
here.
Hi from San Bernardino. Where's that? California.
Yes.
Says Taran. I've never been down that way. I suppose that's down past Malibu and all down that way. Is it? Hi from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Lee says Lisa. Put some difficult ones up. Difficult to pronounce. Russian names. A lot of
from Dubai. Namaste.
Namaste from Dubai. Hello, Craig and Jane from sunny Sunderland. That's easy to pronounce. I'm addicted to you, LOL. Well, that's
and I
very
think
good.
Craig's rather addicted to him too.
Yes, we are. Take me, I am addictive.
And I said, greetings from Malaysia, is it?
Yeah.
You two look fabulous today. We are fabulous.
We don't feel it.
You speak for yourself.
I crawled up the stairs today. Jamie Baby Avocado said again, hi Jamie, nice to join us again. Hi Craig, Jane and Domenico, nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You come every week too. I'm really pleased. Thank you every time. Michelle, happy to catch you live from Maryland, USA. 90 degrees here at the beach today.
Must
it's
be
quite hot here.
Must be sizzling.
Yeah.
Cherry says, hi Craig and Jane. I'll put my glasses on for this. Open line show. Appreciate your videos. Listening from, is that Massachusetts, USA? Thank you very much, Jane and Craig. Thank you.
And thank you. Put your questions in, guys, because we're just saying the hellos at the moment, and get some of your questions about anything spiritual, anything to do with, say, mediumship, psychic work, anything that's perplexed you, puzzled you over the years. We'll talk about that.
Now, Patty Love Cake, Craig, says, hi, Craig and Jane, New York State here. Yeah,
3 slices of her love cake, too, I see there. Hi, Jane and Craig from Catherine in Manchester. Says,
and that's not from
Whiskers.
Yeah, Catherine Kitty Whiskers.
Okay. Is that her surname then, is it?
Who knows?
Subham Mittal. Namaste from
namaste,
Sweden.
namaste.
Namaste to you. Can you today shed some light on Zelensky, please? That's an interesting one to talk about. We know Zelensky is, of course, he's the guy in Ukraine, that's leading all the battle. And what's going to happen to him?
Right. We will talk about that, but we just want to say hellos first.
Yeah, we've done the hellos.
Well, you may. I haven't. Bethany, hi, Craig and Jane from Massachusetts, USA. Love your show. Thank you very much, Bethany.
Originally from Mauritius, and lots of fans watching and listening to you now. Says
And what's the
Cookies and
surname?
Dream.
Cookies Dreams.
Yeah. Cookie and Dream.
You'll make Craig hungry. Listen to all
Yogi
these
Patel,
names.
please talk about the transformation happening in this decade.
Yes, we can talk about that.
Well, we're going to start talking the questions. We get the questions now.
Yes.
Okay. So where do we start? Zelensky first?
Yes.
My thoughts with Zelensky, I think he's going to become another sort of a bit of a Nelson Mandela type of figure in many ways. He's got a bit of a checkered background, if you look into his background prior to coming to the world stage.
He was a comedian, wasn't he, Craig?
Yeah, he was a comedian.
I got to say, I like a gutsy man, and he's amazing because he's shown such strength, and he's what I call a leader. He should be leader of the world. He doesn't give in. He's only a little man, and he definitely does fight for his people. I think really he's going to deserve highest awards from around the world.
But then, on the other hand, he's come the time, come the man, they say, don't they? Or even the woman. And I think history sometimes marks people out. His opportunity came. if this hadn't all happened, maybe he'd faded into obscurity. Someone else would have become in power in Ukraine in due course. But he's kind of cemented a destiny for himself. So he's really a man that's been picked out in some respects by providence. I mean, Hitler used to believe that providence selected him. Napoleon believed in providence. A lot of people believe in providence. And I think in a way he has a bit of that feeling to him. I think because he's going to get a lot of, everybody's looking to him and saying, here's a hero figure in an age where we've got all negative hero figures. You know, it's all about, you know, let's all be more woke and everything. But here's a strong person that comes in onto the world stage and everybody looks at him and thinks, wow, there's a man that, you know, we can believe in. I think he'd be a force for good, actually, because I don't think he'll be assassinated, because that's obviously one of the main concerns, that Russia's going to knock him off. But I think he'll keep going. I don't think he'll be assassinated, even though I would imagine his life is in terrible danger, even when this is all over. And I think he will become very much an international leader and be able to speak at things like the United Nations and become a very powerful force in the future.
I think also there will be a film made about him. Definitely, that's what I see in the future. And historical film as well, where they go right back. Because I just feel at the moment everybody's behind him, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd imagine the film rights of that far more valuable than the film rights to Harry and Meghan, I'd have thought. You know,
and
this
who are
guy's
they,
an adventure
Craig?
story, isn't
Who are
he?
they?
Yeah.
Who are they?
He's an adventure story, this guy. He'd go a long way. I think you could be bang on there with that, Jane.
I know I am.
I could see that could become something that could become quite a... I'd watch it.
Yes.
I'd watch it. Yeah. But at the moment, people are dying and suffering. But I expect once it's all over, Netflix will see it as entertainment. And what was the other question? There's another one came up, wasn't there? Domenico's probably having to scroll down to look for it. What was the other question that was on there a minute ago?
You think about
My
it,
short-term
Craig.
memory
You
is
think
gone.
don't be lazy.
I'm
Don't be
turning into
lazy.
Joe Biden. There's something about the coming age or something, wasn't it? Need another question now from you, Domenico. Anyone to do? Well, let's talk about the weather for a little while, shall we, Jay? Yes, lovely day it is today. I'm looking for a question.
I think it was an Indian
I think
lady that was questioning.
Domenico's doing his Joe Biden impersonations.
No, we can hear you out there.
That's why we got nothing coming on the screen. You've got to go through. It's not easy. You've got to scroll through everybody trying to find some that's not insulting us, basically. Michelle's saying, this last eclipse left me unusually emotional. Is relief on its way?
Funny you should say that, Michelle. Craig has never been the same since.
Yeah.
Now we know
No,
why.
that eclipse did me in. Did me in.
I think there is lots of changes that's happening at the moment with people's emotions and everything. It seems to be a very karmic time around the world.
Yeah,
it's
like when the planets go retrograde, Mercury particularly, which goes a lot. People worry about that, but I think you can't let your life be governed too much by the planets. I mean, I think it give you an insight into things. But I always think about Yogananda that used to make his, because you know Indians are particularly do a lot of their stuff according to whether the planets look good or not, and where Rahu is and all the rest of it. And Yogananda used to tell his students to do all the particular things at the worst planetary times, to prove to them, in many ways, that the human spirit is stronger than the planets. And I suppose that's the way to think about it, really. You know, good or bad, you know, good or bad weather, we can still do our best in whatever times. And that's how I would look to that personally. And I wouldn't let eclipses do you in. I think it's all in the end ultimately about getting the right mental state. I think we can overcome any negativities. By saying that, we got two nice
I knew he was going to say
rooks at home, haven't we? We don't know they're rooks or crows, aren't we? We call them Saturn and Mars, or Mr. and Mrs. Saturn sometimes. Don't
Well,
we?
they say feed blackbirds, ravens, rooks, because it clears bad karma and it brings good fortune. But a lot of people see these black animals, especially, they think they're sort of a sign of death. And it's like, but eventually it does bring happiness through.
When you feed them, you're supposed to go ram, ram, ram,
That's right.
the mantra ram, 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 and it brings good fortune and it takes away the negative.
Yeah, I'm constantly doing that with Craig. Ram, ram, ram. Ram it down your throat.
Friends. If you're on Facebook, you can have a look on the Facebook. We put them up on a little clip on our Facebook page there. Yeah. We're still trying to work out whether they're crows, they're rooks, they're ravens. We don't know. But they come and knock the window when they want their food, don't they? And they even, one got in the house the other day and I had to take him out, I had to carry him out. So it's quite nice, I think, when you get a connection with nature like that. And I think that's all connected a bit with the planets, all these things like that too, actually. Please talk about the transformation happening in this decade. Now, we've had that question a minute ago, not worried about that one. That was the one we missed.
Yes.
The transformation happening in this decade, in the next 10 years.
Well, we're going to see different viruses and different diseases. There's a monkeypox around at the moment. So it's like going back to the old English plague, isn't it? What they had once in history in London, Craig. So there'll be many different viruses. We might see even viruses coming from space yet. But there are good things. And I believe in the yin and the yang and the balance. The earth does balance its way around. But I believe Edgar Casey foresaw higher sea levels, corrosion with the cliffs and everything happening. It's just nature. It's a circle. Eventually, and I say eventually, probably in 1,000 or 2,000 years' time, we will go back to the Ice Age.
So I see the next 10 years. I think we're in a very transformative period of time when we're going to see, where we are seeing unprecedented changes in the world, really, when you think about it. We've had coronavirus, we've had a major war in Europe, we've got tensions building, what I've said about before, in places like in the Far East, particularly around Taiwan. I think there's going to be more and more tension building over there. I think we're going to get tensions between India and China. I think we're going to see Russia as a maverick state kind of becoming much more aligned with places like China as well. The energy of the earth in many respects, the crisis is going to shift more to the east, I think. I think we're going to have in the next 10 years a few global shifts, particularly with earthquakes and some major ones, and particularly in the east with that as well. I feel that's going to make a lot of difference. But with all these things, and an economic serious dip for a while ahead too, I mean real serious for a while, with worries about food shortages, shortages of water, fighting over resources, the usual things. But I also feel that during this whole period, we're also going to start to gradually see, and over the next 10 years, very much a quickening of people's spiritual awakening. I keep on about this, but I do feel that more and more people, I mean, all you people that are watching this, could you have ever watched this sort of show anywhere 20 years ago? You couldn't, and we're not the only one, but there's loads and loads like this now. People thinking, people talking about spiritual things. We could never talk about our work as mediums on the mainstream media ever without some comedian sat next to us or a high-powered psychologist or a skeptic with us. We can talk fairly freely, comparatively freely, and I think this sort of gradual type of blooming of spirituality is going to start to become very big over the next 10 years. It's already accelerated, but it's going to accelerate more and more and more. And I think we're going to see a much more of a softening of religion as a dictatorial type of system, and a much more return to a spirituality where people seek their spirituality, and religions too soften and begin to sort of see the common denominators between them rather than the opposites. So I think there's there's going to be some difficult years over the next 10 years ahead. But I see also, and a lot of worries about, really serious worries about the environment that we haven't even begun to realise the scale of that, I feel. But also a lot of hope for a spiritual reawakening. I really do feel that that's ahead. And you can sense it and feel it, I feel. Everybody can.
Right, Miss M, what are some miracles you experienced related to Sai Baba and hi Domenico? Say hi, Domenico.
He can't say hi because he...
There he goes.
Our mics, he said hello to you.
Yeah.
Our mics won't pick him up.
Well, I did see miracles that happened in front of us when we stayed in the ashram in Swami's temple. I actually saw Vibuti come from his fingertips. I actually saw a child that was partially blind, and the mother was actually putting food in this child's mouth, and Swami went like that, and I saw some Vibuti ash come out to me, and the child suddenly was opening the eyes in front of the mother, and I must admit I felt quite emotional when I saw these things. And sometimes he wouldn't take people's letters and that, but they wanted letters for healing, and he would go like that, it's not going to happen. And I can remember when we actually went into the inner temple, that was called, I had an experience of this wonderful fragrance of jasmine come over, and I was with an Indian doctor at that particular time, and she said, when you smell those smells, it's God blessing you and everything. Do you remember that, Craig? And definitely miracles we were seeing all the time there.
And of course, we experienced a number of miracles when we went to India that time. We weren't going there all the time. We weren't like the friends we had that were going there back and forth all the time. We just went the once to see Sai Baba, but that was pretty amazing. Like Jane, I saw Vibhuti being materialised, but fortunately his hand, he was stood right in front of me. He was doing it to the person next to me, and he materialised the Vibhuti, and it was like that to my face, about that far away, so I could see it close up. And I could see that there was no kind. People say, "Oh, he held a tablet in there and broke it and then did this." No way was that happening, because the Vibhuti, the thing that I found interesting, because I immediately thought, is he something going on here? But it was coming out at an angle like this. But it was also, it had, there was a gap. I could see there was a gap. It was like it was material just outside of his hand. So that was amazing. And one of the things I found that was incredible, everybody's attention was on him, and he was kind of moving his attention like this to people, and I could feel him moving the whole energy of the audience. I mean, it's hard to explain it, but he was kind of playing with us as a collective force, and that was something that was going on inside me as I'm watching it, really. I was just found that, I could feel the whole energy of the place move every time he moved his attention, and he was playing with us with it, and he was laughing about it, because he do something, and we'd all move like this, and you feel the whole energy move. It was amazing, but subtle. And there's so many stories also, because most of them, for me, and I think Sir Jane as well, happened away from being near him, actually. They were things like dreams that were absolutely incredibly came true, and instructions given, and things like this. I've written so much of it in the books and things like this about it. But I mean, there's many things, and I think that I came away with the feeling that it's not because we didn't get an interview, but it's not the interview that counts, because he'd always look at him and he'd say interview.
It's the
interview. And I learnt that, and you can connect with these great people, not just Sai Baba, because obviously we see Sharavana Baba sometimes too, and he has a similar sort of power, and others that I've seen in India. And for me, I think that an awful lot happens on another level of existence. That all of us are on it. Nobody's chosen for this, and nobody's special. I think people that get a special attention from someone like Sai Baba are often people that got a lot of heavy bad news karma in their lives that needs a bit of clearing. So just because he hasn't given you an interview, or he hasn't given you any special attention, that's not a bad thing, actually, because you're there with it on the energy. So I think everybody can find miraculous things, and many have happened, most of which I've written.
Well, you've done a miracle for you, because you met me.
I met you before Sai Baba. Well, actually, maybe not, because I saw him when I was really young. Very young. I saw him.
Yeah, it's a sweet energy.
Yeah.
The pure love.
Yeah.
But don't forget some of these holy men, even Jesus, they had a bit of a temper too.
Oh yeah, beat the donkey. Anything about the Jubilee? Well, I'm not going to any Jubilee on our street. We're going to the D-Day thing before that, aren't we? Which is not on Jubilee itself, is it? But I can't see anything serious happening on the Jubilee. Can you? I feel that Queen's going to make it through the Jubilee. I think after that we got serious worries.
Well, I mean, she's got mobility is not very strong, is it, at the moment, because she's got a walking stick. But she'll live to enjoy it.
She'll live to enjoy it, and I think she won't be able to do as much as she would like to. But I still we'll be seeing her face on the screen, and she'll she'll be there with us for it. So I don't see anything dreadful with it. Domenico says the Queen's going to die the day before. Wouldn't that be
No,
awful?
she won't. No, she won't.
Domenico has that feeling.
Do you?
He does have that feeling. You said
Well,
said that to me before, Domenico.
I
know.
heard they got a replica of the Queen in Madame Tussauds, and if that happens, they're going to wheel it out.
Yeah.
Only joking.
But I don't.
No,
think,
I don't think she will.
I've made my predictions about the Queen earlier in the year.
But positive thoughts.
But I would rather. I hope that prediction's wrong. Can you predict that Craig's books will be on Audible? Yeah, sorry, Andrew. I keep meaning to put them on Audible. I did get some quotes about getting somebody to do the voiceover for me for it, because it's such a lot of work to do, and I keep saying and saying and saying. But I'll try to get some on there soon, Andrew. And I know it's quite good, but they are out there on Amazon. And sometimes I think it's nicer to read a book than listen to. You wouldn't want to listen to my voice all the way through, would you?
Well, I have to. Sheila, good evening. When you pass into the next life, are you taught how to connect with your loved ones on Earth, just as we on the Earth plane can be taught how to connect with them? What's that, Craig?
Yes, you kind of have to be, in a way. This is part of what, when we talk about the spirit guides and things, you know, and what the spirit guides are for, part of it is
you haven't got any germs on there.
Yeah, part of the whole thing about the spirit guides is to help with the communication. So that is the main thing. And just as we as a medium have got to connect with them, they've got to connect with us. And I've been aware of it too when it happens. They're trying to help that person on the spirit to make a connection with you. And you imagine, what would you say? It's an interesting exercise to think in your mind. What would you say to prove it was you? Remembering that the medium might not necessarily be able to hear the words, and you might be able to get pictures into the medium's head, or you might be able to get something that is significant, because the mediums can't hear a full conversation. Sometimes you do. Sometimes it comes clear and you hear it all. Particularly if you've got a lot of energy and you've got a big audience in front of you, you'll start to hear it because the energy's high. But other times it's sort of little bits and pieces you might pick up. You might just get a glimpse of something. So what would you give? You'd have to be shown, wouldn't you? Say, well, you know, show them, you know, something that was put in the coffin with you, or so. Show them the impression of how you passed over. Express your character, because you can get those things to the medium. Express, can you put a memory into the medium's head, you know? And that way, that's how the communication works, because the medium has to almost kind of remember something that someone else's memory, or get a feeling of a body that was somebody else's body. It's not like a telephone line, even though some might try to think of it that way. It's not as clear as a telephone line. And it's bits and pieces a lot of the time, and then sometimes clear voice giving you lots of names and addresses and all the rest of it, but then that might fade and you get other bits, and you put all these bits together to give an impression of what that person is. And you know, that's what they've got to do on the spirit side, because it's just as hard for them to make the communication as it is for us to pick it up. Do you want to add to that, Jane?
No, I think you've said it all, Craig. That's absolutely true, what you say. You know, it's a really good explanation.
Yeah, it's hard, but you can just have to imagine it yourself, what it would be
Dylan,
like, you know.
Will the monkey virus get bad? I think what I read, there's about 9 people that have actually got it in the UK. It's like anything, isn't it? It could spread rather quickly.
I think it won't. I don't think it.
I don't think it'd be like
terrible.
COVID-19.
No, because
so
it's spread by touch. So it's people that are passing it on by touch.
Well, it's like pox.
So it's less likely to be.
Pox, like
the
plague. It's sort of
Looks
like
horrible.
great big swellings. It starts off in the hand and then in lumps and that, and then it spreads on the body.
But it's not spread. It's not spread by air, which is, you know, that it's the
Touch
air
skin.
viruses are the worst ones, because you can't control those at all. So I think it will be. I think that they'll stop that one. But I think, like, you know, I've said before, I think there's more to come.
There is. That's what I've said.
And it will be difficult in years ahead. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be kind of a regular thing that we every now and again we have to stamp on. But we will, you know, science will catch up. I feel. I don't think we're ever going to get wiped out by it. And I don't think it. You know, COVID was pretty bad, but You know, it could have been so much worse, but I don't think it will get worse than COVID. You know.
Oh, anything about the UFOs, wood economy, and stock markets? Now, that's a funny question, isn't it? About the UFOs and stock market.
Well, I'll tell you what I did on the stock market. Actually, well, not stock markets, on
Boo.
cryptocurrencies today. I put a little video up on Facebook, didn't I, with Boo, asking him, you know, will Dogecoin go up or down? I said to him, you know, and he gets up and he stretches himself like this, you know, up, up, up. So that's Boo seems to think that's going to do very well this week. World economy. What UFOs? 3 questions in one there.
Yeah. Well, I believe there's UFOs, and I feel we've had, we're going to get a lot more sightings on it. We've had extraordinary things, haven't we? Things that we've seen in front of us.
What was that we had coming across here?
Yeah. Well, my brother got quite excited, and I think there was 100 sightings of like a fireball that suddenly came from the sky, went all over Hamburg.
Right across here, across the whole of Hampshire.
And then we've seen with Domenico that blue like comet.
Yeah, and we
thing.
saw one, didn't we, on the way home from here?
So there are things happening, really, we can't comprehend at the moment, but we can't be so ignorant to think there's not another life force anywhere else. Now, people think aliens look a bit like Craig, really, with no hair on their head, but it might not be so. And do you remember there was a book that God was a spaceman and
John
alien?
Daniken you're talking about.
Yes,
yeah.
do you remember that?
Yeah, but when I didn't see the fireball go across the sky.
No,
here.
did I? But Timothy
But
did.
a lot of people reported it, and it came at a funny time of night. So I think it was
9 o'clock at night.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, not that
And
late.
there's been pilots that have actually observed another spacecraft and that zoomed quickly.
Well, the thing, when I heard about that, I thought, oh my God, could that be a meteorite? And could it be followed by more? Because, I mean, they often, when things hit Earth,
or a drone.
they just miss all the telescopes because they're so small, and it don't take
was
much.
This was a big one.
To cause major destruction.
Yeah, this
you
is a
know,
big
something
one.
as big as a football pitch could do major destruction.
Well, there is meant to be one that just misses the Earth.
Yeah, this
so
is
many
one. This
degrees.
is one that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
A prediction that's in one of the Nadis out there, but I haven't been able to confirm that truth of that Nadi.
Lisa says, have you watched a recent program about UFOs called Tear in the Sky? Think you might like this one, Craig?
Oh no, I haven't.
Well, we'll watch it then.
Yeah, we'll look it up. So I can't comment on that because we haven't seen it.
But there's lots of documents that the states have hidden, haven't they? The sightings of UFOs.
Yeah, and there was quite a lot of stuff released as well. Avira Tugwell, have you had any messages about the moon wobble in 2030? No, I haven't. Nothing from the spirit world about that. I know people have had. I've seen the stuff about the idea of the moon wobble. I'll tell you what I do also think, though. There's the one that people don't talk about that much was this idea of the planet X, because there was a lot of speculation that there's another planet that's on a huge orbit around the solar system that we miss because it's huge, but it goes far out into space on a huge elliptical orbit. And a lot of people think there could be a planet X, including scientists. This isn't just YouTube theorists. There's a lot of serious thought that there could be something like that. Well, I was reading some of the old ancient texts from India again, and it does appear. I can't remember which one I was reading now, but it gave me the impression. I was looking at it and thinking, could that be Planet X they're talking about here, or could it possibly be that maybe the sun is part of a twin star system that I can't remember what our nearest star is now. Is it Sirius or Alpha Centauri or whatever? That suggestions that the sun could be as a twin orbit with another star orbiting each other, and then they were talking about suggestions that the astrology and the New Age and everything could be predicted by working out the orbit of those two suns. Anyway, I'm going off on another direction there, but there could be all sorts of things. That was something that intrigued me, the thought of that. I'll have to look it up a bit more and see if I can sort of give you a bit more sensible information, but better expressed, perhaps.
Right, next question. Net. Do you feel in the near future that the Vatican will reveal secrets and left out information in the Bible about Jesus? Now, when we where did we go to a place and they had actually the arrow that was meant to be in the side of Christ? Was that hidden in the Vatican?
The spear.
Yeah.
That was in Austria. The spear of destiny you're talking about there.
Yeah, and there's all different secret things, isn't it? Because I think the Catholic Church would keep all this information to themselves.
Well, you think about it, but I was talking about it in one of my videos recently about the Council of Nicaea, which they decided, they're in a kind of a difficult position because they were trying to instill the authority of Rome onto the idea of Christianity, basically. Since Rome had become Christian, they wanted to put the control of Rome onto it. And this is where we get all the control freaks in what was first Catholicism, but then also in all the religion of Christianity, this control sort of thing. And so the original Christians had many, many Gospels. I mean, we've got the Gospels in the Bible we have at the moment, but each of the disciples had their own Gospels. Plus Judas, there's even a Gospel of Judas out there. And all of these other Gospels were kind of a bit contradictory to the power of Rome. And they kind of a little bit contradictory to sometimes to the idea of whether Jesus was a man or a god, and things like this. And there was lots of implications in them. A lot of them were lost. And then there was the Gnostic text that we found. And then there was Dead Sea Scrolls that pointed to all these things as well. And also a lost gospel that they call Q, which is a gospel that all the four Gospels seem to draw from this other source that they called Q. So there's loads of stuff out there that went missing. So at the time of the Council of Corinth and the Council of Nicaea, when they were sort of trying to clean it all up, they must have said, right, okay, we're going to get rid of all that. We're going to edit it all. Those are the Gospels you're going to have, guys. That's the Romanized version of it. Now, the rest of it we're going to chuck out. So they got all these texts and they got all these things. They're going to throw it all away or they're going to keep it. They're probably going to keep most of it. And they've probably got a lot of that stuff still underneath the Vatican, which I'm sure would reveal one hell of a lot about the true life of Jesus and tell us an awful lot about some of the other stories in there, about Mary Magdalene in particular, which is a fascinating enigmas around her, because she's also in Islam and things like that, and a miraculous birth is also shown in Islam. And then we've also got about the fascinating things that we still don't know about John the Baptist and his was it Zachariah, wasn't it?
Zachariah, yes.
That was his father of John the Baptist.
Yes.
There's mysterious stories there that kind of got a little bit wiped out. We find in the Bible references to it, but all sorts of potential.
My mic, Craig.
Sorry.
You keep on sitting on it.
Is it working?
But you're sitting on it.
Okay.
Don't break it.
So so all of these things are probably there and hints at it. The great story I remember, was it called Another Road Street Attraction, a book? I think that's what it was, in which they found the body of Christ was hidden underneath the Vatican.
Oh.
Imagine if that was the case. What things would they have hidden there? Anyway, there's some thoughts. When will Jane write a book?
When Jane is ready. I will do later on. Nana. Do you want to read this, Craig?
In pyramids, there are drawings of rockets and UFOs.
Yes, I've heard that.
Were they in Egypt to help build the pyramids?
And even in the cavemen's time, in the caves, they had sightings and things. And in China, and all in hidden information.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of...
In the cavemen, because they drew all these things. And I think a lot of people didn't understand it at the time.
And also the pyramids, they reckon. The pyramids, just like the pyramids, are kind of built to reflect Orion in the sky. And it's built with the idea of the Nile being the Milky Way and the stars of the positions of the pyramids around Cheops as being the same, reflecting in the sky, which a lot was made of that. I remember there was a lot of really interesting thoughts about the actual measurements of the pyramid itself, because the pyramid itself seems to have some that certain shaped pyramids have a certain magical sort of quality. They reckon, for example, if the position of the king's chamber in a certain position within the pyramid is such that that's the spot where all the energy of the pyramid is focused. And experiments were done particularly in Russia with the idea of could this have something, could this have a special energy to it? And they found one weird thing that came up was they found that blunt razor blades, because razor blades were very rare in Russia, you couldn't get fresh razor blade for anywhere. But if you put a razor blade in that position, in the perfect position of the king's chamber position, and a replica of the pyramid of Cheops, the razor blade would sharpen, and would become sharp again. So there's all sorts of weird stuff that people haven't fully explored.
Yeah.
And also, the one last thing, Jay, there's between the Queen's chamber and the King's chamber, there's also a tunnel that runs between them. And they reckoned that each of the segments of it represented the events that would happen in the future. And they think that the pyramid might be there as a codec of some sort to tell us the future of mankind. Casey was interested in this idea too. So who put that there? UFOs?
But didn't Madame Vasco, who said used to have a pyramid and put the Duchess of York in there to give healing?
Yeah, that's it. That's the same sort of idea.
Yes, so it was healing energy, cosmic healing energy.
And it's got to be built to the same proportion.
Yes, and the measurements have got to be right.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we were students,
all connected with physics.
My friend built a pyramid, he built a pyramid greenhouse in our garden to make sure to see if it would make the plants grow better.
Did it?
It did. It seemed to. Yeah, it seemed to. But no way of qualifying that.
Right. CS UFOs.
UFO disclosures.
Yeah. When will they just come out and say it's at government levels? I think the government do hold a lot of information.
Yeah, this is like the disclosure project and things like this. People want to get the information out there, and is something being held back? Because if they did discover something really significant about UFOs and really did prove it, I mean, it would be pretty big news, wouldn't it? To the point that it would probably upset a lot of people. Might mess up religions, for example.
Well, what would their instinct first be? To destroy them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and the most important thing is, if there are people, UFOs, are they benign or not? Are they going to be destroyers?
Do you know another
theory? Because we've destroyed every civilization we've ever found.
I wonder if the spirit world is anything connected with UFOs as well.
What you mean? Yeah, well, this is another thing we could talk about, perhaps. The idea that sometimes... I think that as people evolve, do they remain on this sort of level of material existence that we understand? Or when you say, we talked earlier on about things like miracles and Sai Baba miracles and things, so that would show that people are capable of having another dimension to them, as it were, being able to transcend matter. Could not an advanced civilization, would they not begin to transcend having a body, perhaps, and become like super beings? I mean, we seem to think that this is the peak of evolution, this monkey body that we're in, and think that this is it. We're at the peak, but we're pretty arrogant, really. I think we could go far, far further than this, and maybe that's what other civilizations are. They're on a different level, similar perhaps to what the spirit world is.
That's what I say. We are being watched by
multi-dimensional beings.
Yes, we are. AA. Hi, Jane. You had said that another virus would spread. Unfortunately, this new monkeypox virus seems to be. Any insights? I think we have to be very cautious with older people with that, and you're quite young children. So it's hygiene all the way again, and be cautious touching things. Very much so. And it's like going back, if you go to these zoos, if you touch an animal, wash your hands and everything. But we're going back with all these different viruses, and like the plague they had in London, it's like it's all reverting back with all these different things. And I'm sure mankind, there will be, they got the virus injections, COVID-19, pretty quickly, didn't they? Out there to help people.
Comparatively quick, really, didn't they? And but the problem we have nowadays is you can get a horrible illness like Ebola or something like that, And if it gets out and it gets onto the airplanes, it can be around the world within 24 hours.
Yes, yeah.
And this is the danger, where this is why, you know, we're likely to get more in many ways, because we can't contain it. You know, when you think about the times of the plague, it came from India, and then it went all across the Persian worlds, and then it came up through Greece into Rome and the rest of it. But it took a long time, and it took a long time to actually spread, and it took a long time to die out as well. But today, a devastating illness that we have no resistance to could be with us in no time at all, and we're running out of antibiotics. That's the problem, because we're using up all our...
The worst plague was the Black Plague, and that because there was no cures, but now people are much more advanced. Scientists are much more advanced with things now. But I think there's also dangers with hepatitis as well in children.
You see, the plague, I mean, when they had the plague, it destroyed ancient Greece. Greece was not destroyed really by barbarians. It was destroyed by a massive plague that ripped it apart, and that world collapsed. If the plague hadn't happened, it would have probably continued for much longer. Plagues destroyed Naples, where Domenico comes from, devastated ancient world, and it could be the same again. We could have, you know, other illnesses that we can't resist. We seem to think we got it all sussed with science, but you know, there's something could come along that we can't catch it quick enough.
I've often thought with all these different diseases, perhaps it's a cleansing of Mother Earth sometimes, so we all come closer together, because when the COVID-19, people were much kinder, weren't they?
Yeah, and I think the problem is it's when they start messing with it for military purposes. You know, they used the Japanese used anthrax against the Chinese during the Second World War.
What about mustard gas?
Well, mustard gas was used in Germany, but there was also developments of biological weapons were being developed by Nazi Germany too. So, you know, God knows what things they've got hidden away there. They said, oh, we know we're never going to use chemical weapons. The Russians used chemical weapons down in Salisbury.
Yes.
You know, who knows? Anyway, we'll move on. Has the Queen got a double?
Yes, me.
I often wondered if she had.
I don't think she has. I think she's quite a remarkable lady. And what I like about the Queen, she keeps everything in order. It must be very difficult for her, what's been going on in the royal household. But I did notice when they had Prince Charles that had to step in, what do they call that parliament, Craig? When they had the Queen's crown there, it's the first time in history she couldn't attend.
Well, she has to do the speeches for the, I can't remember what they call it. The announce what's going to be the government's going to do and things.
Yeah,
in Parliament,
and I noticed Prince Charles looking at the crown, and I noticed that Prince William looked very uncomfortable there. And that, but I think the Queen keeps it in order, even though she health with her legs and everything like that. She still keeps going, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, sometimes they have real doubles for some of the
This
politicians
is a double
of
here,
the world, don't they? So, in case of assassination.
You're a double, aren't you,
yeah,
Craig?
I mean, this is a doppelganger. Here's tonight. Yeah, I'm not Craig at all. I'm some guy in pink that they pulled in off the street. But so they have that. They have that. But I don't really hold with some of these things. Nor do I hold with the surrogate babies of and things like that they talk about in the royals. But anyway, so. We're going to just tell you also while you're on, guys, that we're going to be doing a live. We're going to be going live on Thursday from the Concord Club in Southampton. So it's going to be an absolute nightmare from Domenico's point of view. It may completely collapse and go completely wrong, but we're hoping for the best. And we're going to take all our kit down there when Jane and I do our live demonstration. So go, and if you're based in Hampshire or roundabout, you can get to the Concord Club Southampton. It's on the screen, theconcordclub.com to get tickets. And Jane and I will be doing a live demonstration, and we'll be coming to members of the audience, and we're going to film it. And we're going to film it live. So it goes out on this channel, and you'll all be able to watch it, all being well, you know. So make sure you're subscribed, so you're going to get your updates. We'll probably put an announcement up somewhere, a little announcement video beforehand perhaps, or something like that. Certainly put it on Facebook. and you'll be able to see us live. So go and get your tickets. There's a few left, I think. I think there's a few left. It's not a big venue because it's controllable for us, but it should be pretty good fun, or a complete nightmare. But either way, it's going to be good.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
No, the energy will be right there, because we've done it about 3 times now, and it's been wonderful energy and meeting wonderful people, and it's really nice to actually connect with people, isn't it, Craig?
It is. It's like great, and we get, hopefully we get a few of the patrons coming to us there. I think some of them said they're going to come, and so we're not. What time does it start? When do we start?
We
the show?
actually start at 7:30, and then we have a break at 8:30. Then we go back on air at 9 o'clock, and we actually finish at 10 o'clock.
So we'll probably fire off about 7:30. I don't know. We'll do it in 2 parts even. I don't know if Domenico might need a break in between. There'll be one show,
yes.
Domenico's saying. So it'll be one stream. So you'll be able to come and join us and be able to see us, and it should be exciting, I think, like you say, Ches. Yeah.
Will we have a screen that'll go up, Domenico?
No,
Will
we haven't
see a
got screens behind us.
Oh.
No. No, we're going to keep it as simple as possible. How do you figure out your soul's purpose?
Well, you answer that then.
I don't know.
I think personally, are you talking about meeting another soul, or
your purpose in life?
Your purpose in life, your soul. I think it's something that you're destined to do. You have to use your own free will, and if you've got a good heart and you want to help people, you may want to be a nurse. You may want to work with children, or you may want to work abroad or anything. It's something that I feel that you feel right with. It's got to be your calling, what's right for you.
I think with all things spiritual, you've got to look within, not look without, you know. And I think to find out what you're meant to do in life, you've got to really just look to your heart and say, what is it that really gets me? What is it that really inspires me? And you should know yourself enough to be able to think, yeah, that really inspires me. And then you've got to really have the courage to do it, you know. I know that dolphins know about their purpose in life.
Very funny.
But I think to find your purpose, you just need to look within and just follow your heart, isn't it? Really, surely, you know, do what you feel you're meant to do.
Yeah. Who's Jay Moon? You're a Craig tonight. Give Craig and Jane a hug. Tap the like button.
Yes,
thank you very
idea,
much.
Actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. You tap the like button's always a nice thing because it pushes it up the rankings. Always nice if you come back and make some comments too, because your comments.
Oh, and I think we have to do a warning as well. Every week when we go live on air, there are scammers on there that are offering you their services of clairvoyance, and these are people that are after your money, after your bank details. They come from Nigeria. We do not ask people for money.
No, we don't ask you by private message on Facebook ever. You know, so we don't go, any private messages from us are fake. And on Facebook, actually, you can give us a little few hearts too if you're on the Facebook channel, because that always helps the channel a little bit as well. And look at that, some kind person.
Gosh, that's amazing.
You've got a difficult name. You deserve to have your.
We call you Vid.
Come up with the grid. Thank you very much for making a donation.
Thank you, bless you.
You can also make these super chat.
And you're definitely going to gather good karma.
Your name is hard, though, I must say. Chani Chopra is saying, I can't read it properly, my eyes are going funny.
Meaning of having a dream of a horse, and it was incredibly peaceful. I was never able to forget the feeling of the dream, what to take from our dreams, and how can we all through our dream. Well, they say the horse will always come home, don't they? A horse is strong. So it's quite a symbolic dream that you've had. And it's always good to write your dreams down and date them, because in your subconscious mind, it brings things forward. And I think it's very good to interpret your dream. Perhaps at that particular time, you need to have strength, where horses are strong. Horses can be horses of war too, can't they, Craig?
The actual word nightmare comes from the idea of a horse, actually, on the negative side of it. But a horse in a dream is usually a symbol of energy and bodily fitness and strength, isn't it? You know, I mean, Freud obviously saw it in lots of different ways too. But I think symbolically, it's a symbol of vitality, and that's probably why you felt good. It was expressing that you were feeling good. You know, Yeah, there's lots. We could do a dream one week, actually, Jane. That might be quite an
Yes.
interesting one to do.
Here's one for you, Craigos.
Good evening. Dolores Cannon speaks about a telephone that will be invented to talk to the other side. Is that soon? All through frequency.
I didn't believe that.
Well, I don't hold much with Dolores Cannon, frankly, because most of what she says has not been qualified by any way whatsoever. So just what Dolores Cannon says, I don't necessarily, most of this, and I read her stuff about Loch Ness Monster and I just gave up on her because I thought, oh, well, she's lost it there. There has always been, I mean, Edison, I think it was, first tried to make, I think it was Edison that tried to do it, tried to make a piece of equipment to communicate with the dead. And Tesla also was fascinated by the idea, could you make a machine to communicate with the dead? In the early days of spiritualism, a lot of the great minds came together trying to think, is there a way we could do that? I don't think it is possible because it comes through consciousness. The mechanism for connecting with the spirit world is consciousness itself, and that is through our own spirit. It's spirit to spirit communication, really. So you have to use the spirit. But one of the other interesting things is another one that I might approach on one of my Zooms one day is with the patrons and things have been asking me to talk about physical mediumship, because in the times of early spiritualism, we would get manifestations where beings would build up and be able to speak to the sisters in the room directly through the seances. And this was what ectoplasm's all about. This was the idea, was there was something between spirit and matter. There was something between the two, and that half spirit, half matter was ectoplasm. So ectoplasm was the means to make the connection. I think the philosopher, I think it was Schopenhauer, that also spoke about something like that too. No, or was it Descartes? I can't remember. I'm off on the wrong, showing my ignorance here. But there's this idea that there's a connection. Is there some force between spirit and between, you know, is it divided, or is there something between? Do they merge together? And if so, could we not build a piece of mechanism that could connect to that level? That's how they thought about it anyway. I don't think so. I think the closest we have to be able to get any mechanism to understand the spirit world is our observation of the quantum world. Yes. Because the quantum world seems to be very close to the same idea of what happens in the world of consciousness. So I think one day we might understand the link between consciousness and this idea of the quantum energies and the quantum fields. But I think we've got a long way to go. And whether we could physically make something to do that, I still don't know if that's possible.
Yes, because you might as well say, can I have a direct telephone conversation with God?
Yeah, well, that
right.
would certainly raise that question.
Yeah. Ravina says, hi both, do we plan our life before we are born? I believe that we choose our Earth Mother, Earth Father. It can all be karmic. If we don't learn these lessons while we're here, then we reincarnate. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's destiny, isn't it? It's why
I say
we're
we
here.
can choose up to a point.
Yes, destiny.
Depending on how far advanced we are in some respects. Because some people will get thrown back onto earthly reincarnations because they've not done a very good life this time round. So they get back quick. They don't get a lot of good karma to be able to have time in the spirit world or time to plan and know what they need to do. I think up to a point. I think our karma dictates a lot of it, so it's unconscious. But as we develop more awareness, I think we gain more control in this life, but also our choice when it comes to a new life if we're reborn.
Yes.
Super chat questions. What do you think of the global pandemic treaty? Is it a power grab or any benefit with all the corruption in World Health Organization?
Well, I always a bit suspect when they bring new drugs out because I think a lot of it's money making, to be honest.
My worry with it all is the pharmaceutical industry is so basically driven by money. I mean, really, you'd think about it, you know, people say, oh, you mediums, you shouldn't make money by doing this sort of work because, you know, it should be sacred. But surely healing and medicine should be free to all, really, too. That, if anything, that saving life needs to be free to the world. But unfortunately, it's become money-grabbing sort of organisations that are behind it. And I don't really trust the World Health Organization. I know Trump had a real go at it, and it awoken us all to the idea of, are these guys really doing what they're supposed to do? So I, to be honest, I'm not sure. I don't feel comfortable with the World Health Organization, because it was, China put a lot of money into the World Health Organization, and it was convenient how COVID-19 got so covered up. It was absolutely slammed on, wasn't it? We still have no real information about what really went on in those labs, and we were sidetracked with all the fish markets and animal markets and things like that.
What I can't understand, why doesn't the world sue China then?
That's right. Shouldn't they be paying us everybody back? Instead of making a massive profit out of it, which they did up to a point, because they were supplying all the equipment we needed, the plastics and things for face masks and all the protective gear, and they haven't paid a penny to the world. They should be sued to the, they should be sued. Every bloody penny that China's got should be go into propping the world up again of what the damage they've done.
You think of all the suffering that people couldn't go to somebody that died, the funerals.
Yeah. And these wet markets are still there.
Mm-hmm.
They're still there. It's not been shut down. They're still importing, tigers, claws, and elephant tusks, and every endangered species they possibly can for lunch, So your last question's coming up, guys. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you really do like this channel and you like listening to me and Jane, it really is nice if you can support us a bit, by becoming a patron, which you can find about in the description below. And if you become a patron, you can also watch extra material, and also you can, of course, join me on Zoom sometimes if you like.
Coffee Morning with Craig, remember that?
And, Coffee with Craig's on this channel.
Yeah.
Follow Jane and Craig on Instagram. Jane's got a channel on Instagram.
Yeah, I've got it, and I've got my own channel,
which is also in the description below.
Good.
And thanks to all our patrons, of course. And as I said, if you can help the channel, if you can help by becoming a patron, it really does help. This whole set we've got here is completely supported by patrons. We couldn't do this show without it. And we're giving all our time, we're going to be doing that, demonstration of mediumship in the theatre at the Concord. All our money from that goes entirely into this. This isn't for us. This is purely done for you guys, and purely done really just as a spiritual exercise. With the ultimate aim of ultimately getting a spiritual centre together, which we're working hard towards. So your support helps us a great deal. And we've got quite a few of you helping us now, but there's a little bit more. It gives us the security to know we can keep this going and we can take it to the next stage. And you can go to psychics.co.uk. We've got a brand new website going, hopefully live tonight with luck. And you can us pushing Domenico because he's helping me after this. He's designed it, and if you see it, it's going to be brilliant. I tell you, go and have a look at it. Anybody wants a website developed, have a word with me, and we might like it. And you can get my books there and things, and you can get our readings there. And we got lots and lots of questions coming up here. And we'd love to have some more live guests on the show. We're also going to be doing. We got some help to help us get together what we're calling the seance room. So people who want to join us, we'll be doing live readings on air with people in a seance-like setting, doing live communications with the spirit world. We've hopefully got our crew. We could still always do with some more help for people that can help us with the crew, but we also need people that want to sit with us. So get in touch through psychics.co.uk.
And Simon, I'm still waiting for you. Simon's an undertaker.
Don't push me, but if you want to.
No, he will. He'd be delighted
anybody
to.
that wants to come on. It's really nice to get a few guests on there now because we're ready now.
Who is the painting behind you? Looks like a mixture of both of you. Please don't take me wrong. I find you beautiful. It's Queen Victoria.
I am not amused by that.
It's Queen Victoria.
Yes, it's Queen Victoria.
And we're hoping to get Winston Churchill.
And it's a pretty old picture of Queen Victoria that we managed to salvage from a hotel. So, yeah, it's quite nice, actually. I wanted Churchill up there myself.
Well, it will come.
Yeah, old England. Can the spiritual string strap break? Hang on. Can the spiritual string snap? Strap. I can't see properly. Oh, bloody hell.
Let me help you, my
Can the
dear.
spiritual strings snap when people are teleporting to other places? Are they lost
Well,
forever?
what she means,
Astral travel, she's talking
yeah, and sometimes they think there's a silver thread where you come out of your inner body
Yeah.
and go on to another astral plane.
Actually, Jane, I want this on my gravestone. I want paranormal investigator, one out-of-body experience too many. That's what
Yes.
I think.
And I should put a toilet seat on top of it.
No, you can't. I suppose it snaps when you die, doesn't it, really? I mean, we leave our physical body when we die. So at some point, yes, we die. Out-of-body travel is a whole topic, really, to explain some of the misconceptions that I think are out there. I'm not actually sure there is an umbilical cord, as it were, that connects people that could stretch or snap. I think it requires a lot more deeper thought than that. But I do think we are all, as beings, obviously have the capability to look into other worlds. That's what we do as mediums, don't we, Jane? We tune our consciousness into another dimension, as it were. And I think people, when you're asleep, maybe you do travel to other places. You know, you can see other places and visit other areas of the physical plane. Do you want me to read it again? Because my eyesight's going.
Oh, well, let me do it.
I'll do it. Jane and Craig.
No, you didn't give me a chance to put my glasses on.
All right, go on then.
Jane and Craig, do you find it difficult being around people who are not spiritual open, and how do you deal with it? No, we don't find it difficult.
Apart from our neighbours.
Yeah, but not everybody can be spiritual, can they? I find people interesting if they're spiritual and unspiritual, so it doesn't really matter. But it's nice to be with spiritual people that's in harmony and peace, because if you're around passive aggressive people or terrible behaviour, then it's a negative force. You don't want to be with them, do you, Craig?
Yeah, so from Jane and I, for example, certain environments, and all the family feel it as well. Actually, Domenico feels it as well. We go into certain environments, and the energy there is, for a sensitive person, it's not easy. So, like, I think I'd find things like football matches a bit hard to cope with. Not that I've been to one for a long, long time. I'd find bars, sometimes heavy drinking places, a little bit too hectic. It gets your brain, because you're kind of sensitive to it. I wouldn't have been like that when I was a nipper, but I mean, certainly now that the mediumistic gift has developed, you're much more sensitive to environments and much more sensitive to aggressive type of energy that some people like to project, particularly if they're on a Saturday night out, all that sort of idiocy. So yeah, I think we are to a point, but you know, I think you're not open all the time. I mean, this is one of the things you teach people when you develop mediumship, is that you can't be psychically open all the time, because you just drain and burn out. Yeah. So you switch it on and off.
Yeah, and we're very family orientated, and we like being with our family, children and grandchildren, don't we?
I think it's very important to surround yourself with good energy, because if you mix with artists, you'll become artistic. If you mix with creative people, you become creative. If you mix with musicians, you could become mixed with scientific-minded people. It rubs off. But if you mix with bad company,
or idiots,
it will also rub off on you. So it's important to choose good company if you want to be happy in yourself. You know, and hopefully your good energy will rub off on other people too, and make them a better person.
Now, Mystic said, Craig, Jane, you should do a chat by Sai Baba's miracles others here in the chat have experienced. We will do.
Yeah, not everybody. There's a few. I know a number of you who followed Sai Baba come to the channel, but there's only a small percentage of you guys. Remember, we have done a bit on Zoom, and I certainly, if any of the patrons wanted to do something like that and wanted to sort of contact me and say, yeah, I was a Sai Baba follower, let's talk about your miracles, I think that would be nice to do. But it needs to be, I think, more of a Zoom type thing rather than this questions and answers type thing, because the stories of Sai Baba require often a lot of explanation. And for Sharavana Baba too, remember, because we have a number of Sharavana Baba followers too, and we could even talk about some of your experiences in my new book called Be Happy, which you should go out and buy.
And make you
You'll put a picture up in a minute.
Yeah.
It's going to go hunting round to find a picture. Have you visited? Have you visited the Sai Centre at Ganesh Temple in Merton, London?
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't actually. No, no.
We've only been to Swami's temple, and we've been to Darshans, where they've done chants and everything.
Yeah,
haven't
and
we,
I've
in private homes.
I've been to the temple, some of the wonderful actual temples they have in London. Actually, for the in Wimbledon, not Wimbledon. What's it called? Where the football is. Wembley. God, not senior moment. A Biden moment for a minute there. I had. Lovely you both. You'll be offering virtual circles at any point. Yes, that's also going to be something that's going to be happening around the table there. I'd like to hopefully be able to get some more type of things going and tie the patrons in with that, because I love teaching this type of thing as well and did it for many years. Probably not for a while.
We have been to Los Angeles, and we have demonstrated in a psychic bookshop there, and also on a TV station.
Yeah, we did quite a lot when we were in Los
did.
Angeles. The limited time we had, it was
and the
good fun.
trouble is, everybody wants you, and you can't give yourself to everybody. They all want to take you out and wine and dine your meals.
Fun, though.
Yeah, but then I was finding towards the end when they say, "Oh, let's take you to the Ivy in West Hollywood," you're pushing all your food under the lettuce leaf. You don't want to offend people.
Oh,
on
actually,
that.
yeah, because there was so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it. And we went up to Hollywood Hills and all around there.
Oh, I
didn't we?
love that. Jason, thank you, Craig and Jane. Until next time.
Yes. We're saying our bye-byes now.
Okay. Also, tap the light. Thank you, Jay. Moon.
Give us a push. Good idea. Bye.
Bye.
Press 12. We're going to be saying bye to you all soon. Thank you for joining us
I'm
again.
say thank you for answering.
We're
my
on
dark
every Saturday
Nana.
nights at the moment, and you can come and join us. But keep following both
Hello
channels.
from Florida, Terry, Lottie, Martin.
Heart.
Oh, that's
heart.
lovely. Bless
Dolphin,
you.
dolphin. Heart.
Jay Moon. What's that? Neighbours. Jay Moon. Who's that? Is that Susie? I put my glasses on.
I don't know. We get friends come on. And we don't
enjoy your
spot
show tonight as always. Goodbye from sunny Shedfield. Love, Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. I love this time with all of you, too, and Dom, and loving positive future thoughts. Happy, happy, happy.
Yeah, and
day.
thank you. Also to Dom again in the background there,
Yes.
who's behind the scenes. Because, you know, that's all behind the scenes, all the work,
That's
and none of the
nice.
glory like we take.
Yeah. Fleming says, thank you both, and Domenico too. Thank you. Agility Bits, thank you for another great show. Jane, Craig and Domenico, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
We'll have to start getting Domenico out and do some of our Craig and Domenico investigations we were doing. That was fun again. It's time, isn't it? Bye from Germany. Bye, Patricia. Schultz. It always reminds me of Stalag 18.
Eye of the Needle. When will Jane do a live?
You do lives?
I do a live on, I've got a channel.
Oh, no, you haven't been doing them live, though, have you?
I've
You've been
been
uploading
uploading them, but I may do a live.
Yeah.
I may do a live.
Easy
Because
done.
I'm so busy, I don't have an awful lot of time to myself. Because I do personal readings and then work with Craig at times and things. So our time's limited.
Time, particularly when you start putting readings into it, it soon gets taken up, you know, because Jane does the readings from home. I'm doing readings now, and we should hopefully be live very soon, tonight perhaps, on Skype. So you can go and have a look at the website, give it 24 hours.
Yes? What do you... Oh, Zoom. I've been told to do Zoom.
Oh, Zoom, not
Yes.
Skype. Yeah, we mess the words around. Don't we? We're getting old. We're getting past
You
it.
speak for yourself, darling.
I
What
want some
about
more milk
FaceTime?
salt tonight. Sorry?
You do FaceTime?
Yeah.
I prefer one-to-one readings myself, where I actually got the person in front of me, because it's
people
quite
come to see you. 'Cause
it's
your
quite
time's
rare
limited.
for clairvoyants to do one-to-ones with people in front of them, actually, isn't it?
It's not that many. It's all done on phone, isn't it, nowadays?
Yeah.
And it's not
No,
quite
I
the
prefer
same.
people
I do
in front
agree.
of me.
It's much more sociable and enjoyable, actually, when
It
you
is.
do it face-to-face. But we couldn't both do it face-to-face from home because we'd just be crowded out, wouldn't we? So I do them by Skype, Zoom rather.
Oh, email.
Yes. I'm saying Skype now. Well, I might have been saying it before. I've definitely lost it. Anyway, Thank you, everybody, for joining us again this evening, and we'll see you again next week, hopefully. And we're going to say
Goodbye
now.
and enjoy the sunshine. Love from the heart.
She's talking about somewhere that gives me a name that sounds like Herbrook.
She's from Pembrokeshire.
Pembrokeshire, okay. That's
And her name was Jean.
She's talking about a Peter. Has something to do with fish and chips? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I was still here, I'd clip him round the ear. Would you understand that? All right. Okay. I feel he's bringing you flowers from the spirit world, because I feel very much you sense him at times, because I'm getting out of breath as he's coming through. Would you understand that? Very breathless.